Hey everybody, and welcome back to A Path to Contemplation. My name is Andrea Williamson, and today we're going to continue learning about what contemplation is. So when I started hearing words like contemplation and pilgrimage and even communion, I started to realize that you can read about them for more understanding, and it's very helpful to do so. I also found that you really don't begin to fully understand what it is or what it means until you do it. The secrets and the mysteries are in the doing. Stephanie Paulzel, theologian and professor of the practice of Christian studies at Harvard Divinity School, came to High Point University one day to talk to us about pilgrimage. And she described practicing pilgrimage like this. She said, you don't go on a pilgrimage because you understand what it means. You go on pilgrimage so that you can understand what it means. The same can be said about communion, for contemplation, fill in the blank. Over time, your eyes are open to different pieces of understanding. Over time, your eyes are open to mystery. Today, we're going to continue in our readings of Contemplation on some contemplative prompts, just as we did last week. Again, to help orient you, to ignite your imagination, and even your curiosity. That alone can guide you very far in your seeking. But even with that, it'll be up to you to keep the flame burning. So I'll give you another 3 prompts, and again, you guys, I really recommend Richard Rohr's book, Just This, Prompts and Practices for Contemplation, to give you something to get started and to give you something to come back to in your learning. It really does have such great depth and is very comprehensive. So let's begin right here with the first reading. Go ahead and relax and open yourselves up to receive. I'll be right here with you. Just This, Prompts and Practices for Contemplation. Introduction. Awe and surrendering to it. I'm ready to be approached by those who do not study me, ready to be found by those who do not seek me. I say, I am here, to people who do not even invoke my name. Isaiah 65:1. Perhaps more than anything else, Just This is a book about seeing, but a kind of seeing that is much more than mere looking, because it also includes recognizing and thus appreciating. This is the kind of seeing we do in contemplation, the centerpiece of any authentic inner dialogue. The contemplative mind does not tell us what to see, but teaches us how to see what we behold. Contemplation allows us to see the truth of things in their wholeness. It is a mental discipline and gift that detaches us, even neurologically, from our addiction to our habitual way of thinking, and from our left brain, which likes to think it is in control. We stop believing our little binary mind, which strips things down to 2 choices, and then usually identifies with one of them, and begin to recognize the inadequacy of that limited way of knowing reality. In fact, a binary mind is a recipe for superficiality, if not silliness. Only the contemplative, or the deeply intuitive, can start venturing out into much broader and more open-ended horizons. This is probably why Einstein said that imagination is more important than knowledge. Knowledge is limited. Imagination encircles the world. But how do we learn this contemplative mind, this deep, mysterious, and life-giving way of seeing, of being with reality? Why does it not come naturally to us? Actually, it does come momentarily, in states of great love and great suffering. But such wide-eyed seeing normally does not last. We return quickly to dualistic analysis and use our judgments to retake control. A prayer practice, contemplation, is simply a way of maintaining the fruits of great love and great suffering over the long haul and in different situations. And that takes a lot of practice. In fact, our whole life becomes one continual practice. To begin to see with new eyes, we must observe, and usually be humiliated by, the habitual way we encounter each and every moment. It is humiliating because we will see that we are well practiced in just a few predictable responses. Few of our responses are original, fresh, or naturally respectful of what is right in front of us. The most common human responses to a new moment are mistrust, cynicism, fear, knee-jerk reactions, a spirit of dismissal, and overriding judgmentalism. It is so discouraging when we have the courage to finally see that these are the common ways that the ego tries to be in control of the data, instead of allowing the moment to get some control over us and teach us something new. To let the moment teach us, we must allow ourselves to be at least slightly stunned by it, until it draws us inward and upward toward a subtle experience of wonder. We normally need a single moment of gratuitous awe to get us started. And such moments are the only solid foundation for the entire religious instinct and journey. Look, for example, at the Judeo-Christian Exodus narrative. It all begins with a murderer, Moses, on the run from the law, encountering a paradoxical bush that burns without being consumed. Struck by awe, he takes off his shoes, and the very earth beneath his feet becomes holy ground, because he has met being itself. This narrative reveals the classic pattern, repeated in different forms in the varied lives and vocabulary of all the world's mystics. The spiritual journey is a constant interplay between moments of awe, followed by a general process of surrender to that moment. We must first allow ourselves to be captured by the goodness, truth, or beauty of something beyond and outside ourselves. Then we universalize from that moment to the goodness, truth, and beauty of the rest of reality, until our realization eventually ricochets back to include ourselves. This is the great inner dialogue we call prayer. Yet we humans resist both awe and even more surrender. The ego resists the awe, while the will resists the surrender. But both together are vital and necessary. Pure presence. Whenever your heart space, your mind space, and your body space are all present and accounted for at the same time, you can experience pure presence, a moment of deep interconnection with the pure, gratuitous being of anything and everything. It will often be experienced as a quite leap of joy in the heart. Contemplation is an exercise in openness, in keeping all three spaces open long enough for you to notice other hidden material. When you can do that, you are content with the present moment and can wait upon futures you know now will be given by grace. This is full access knowing, not irrational, but intuitive, rational, and trans-rational all at once. The supreme work of spirituality, which makes presence possible, is keeping the heart space open, which is the result of conscious love. Keeping in a right mind, which is the work of contemplation or meditation. And keeping the body alive with contentment and without attachment to its past woundings, which is often the work of healing. In that state, you are neither resisting nor clinging, and you can experience something genuinely new. Those who can keep all three spaces open at the same time will know the presence they need to know. That's the only prerequisite. People who can simply be present will know the presence that connects everything to everything. It has little to do with belonging to a particular denomination or religion. So next week we'll be moving into our final series, and that will be getting to know the self. By the end of this video series, we're going to do a compilation of final thoughts in each one of our sections: spiritual practices, contemplation, and getting to know the self. We want you to know how to make this your own and help you begin leading yourself down the path of contemplation and beyond. Remember, this is about connection, ultimate and really eternal connection with yourself and with God, living from the inside out, leading from within, from those gifts that are expanding, from what is natural. The reason why I'm sharing this with you is that I want you to be able to experience life in this way, to be fully alive in a way that you aren't being forced to or manipulated, but instead because something resonated with you deeply, and by your own choice, you began seeking. You guys, I cannot wait to share with you what's coming next in this series. And for those of you whom these videos resonate with, I can't wait to share in conversation with you about what you've learned, about what it is you're seeking now. Some of the best experiences of my life are in helping people return back to themselves, to explore and discover, to learn and love, and of course, to enter into the God space. So see you guys next week as we move into our final section, getting to know the self. Take care.